Australia's a really interesting scene because you have basically 4 or 5 major cities that are 12 hours apart, and a major city is anything over than 2 million people. In the USA, you have what in Australian terms is a major city 2 hours away, 3 hours, 4 hours at the most. It's half a day's drive. In Australia, you have to fly everywhere. There are 20 million people in Australia that would fulfill the space about 2/3 the size of the USA. The USA has 300 million people living on it. So 2/3 the size and under 1/10 of the population. So it's very, very sparsely populated. Australians love to experiment. Australians love to give anything a go. That's why bands that come out of Australia don't always sound like anything else. They sound uniquely Australian, which is kind of weird. For example, the presets. The presets don't sound like an electro. You know the presets. Tell me you know the fucking presets. For Christ's
I
sake.
don't know the
I have
presets.
to execute you. But you'll walk the plank later. But they're an electro band from Australia. Funny thing that people don't know about the presets is that they're actually industrial boys. And they're kind of industrial punk. That's how they started out, and they hit on this really cool electro sound that the whole global electro scene loved. But it's really unique. It's got that really unique sound to it. It doesn't fit squarely into a box anywhere. It's just that thing. Australians are usually very, very open to anything because the scenes and the audiences are so small in Australia that goth, industrial, metal, and fetish often get thrown into the one category.
Well, they do here too. It's I guess in that sort of respect, things are very similar. Yeah.
Well, and Americans love to rock too. Like, so do Australians. Australians like to go fucking ballistic. Henry Rollins once said that no one rocks like Australians, and if Henry Rollins said it, it's true. Because Rollins is God.
Yep.
That's one thing I really love about America. I think Americans dig Angelspit a lot more because they understand that it's not EBM goth, it's punk with an industrial edge or industrial with a punk edge. When you go to other countries, it's really, they're very different. Like New Zealand, we were talking about briefly before, is just amazing. Like, they go all out in New Zealand. No one ever goes there, so if someone goes to New Zealand, they make a big deal about it. Amazingly friendly people, awesome country, great fun. Then if you go to Europe, because it is so phenomenally fucking gigantic, they have a Depeche Mode party in Germany every single night of the week. Somewhere there is a party that is a Depeche Mode party. Depeche Mode, not 80s, but Depeche Mode. Every city in Germany has a Depeche Mode party somewhere every single fucking weekend. And quite often there are 2 or 3 running simultaneously. You have to see it to believe it. The German industrial goth scene is so massive that it's an industry. And as a band, when you go to support there, you get treated like you're part of an industry, where they throw you in one end and you go through the rigmarole, then you get thrown out the other end. And it's kind of a little bit impersonal, but like that. Germany's interesting because also increasingly it is giving way to the massive festivals. That there are less and less, or I found anyway, of a band like Angelspit aren't really all that big. We're still a small band. It's increasingly difficult for a band our size to be getting club gigs, etc. in Germany. It's all gone festivals. I love Berlin. I love Germany. I love the German attitude. Something I find really hard about Germany is that stuff has, like I was saying before, music has to fit into that EBM box or IDM box. Or if Angelspit fit in a box, then it would be okay. But there is this massive population in Germany who are just so crazy about fucking art and the most wildest shit you've heard in your life. So, I don't know, that so didn't answer your question. But then you go to somewhere like Portugal, and they don't give a shit there. They just want to drink coffee and party. So if your music's loud and passionate, they'll love you. And I remember when we did 2 gigs in Portugal, and they were some of the funnest gigs we've ever done. People didn't care about fashion. They didn't... See, the other thing is, we're always meeting the DJ. You go on and the DJ is playing the same fucking songs. It's every place you go on earth, same songs. They're wearing the same clothes. It's all about experimentation. I remember we did this gig in Prague. The promoter was saying to me how they had this conversation about fashion. That, you know, should they get dressed up to go to a club, or should they just come along casually in the t-shirt? And I said, you know, the question really is should you as a promoter and a club runner you need to be making an atmosphere where people feel that they can freely express themselves. If they are comfortable in a fucking t-shirt, then let them wear the fucking t-shirt. If they want to go, if they really want to be a drag queen, then they need to feel safe that they can turn up looking like the most gorgeous drag on the planet. They need to feel encouraged because we're a community. That's what we always have to remember. I didn't answer your question.